I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Divine Alignment, we can laugh at this shit now. About 4 or 5 years ago, they booked me for land tile. When I got my paperwork, it said UC. So I'm like, man, what's the UC? It said undercover. In Pinellas County, they called me. They called me to Pinellas County. I gave them the measurements. I got a mile down the street. They pulled me over like I killed somebody, pulled me out the car, and they booked me. No citation, no nothing. They booked me. They told me that you got to have a contractor's license to lay tile. Well, in Hillsborough County, you don't. And I never even thought about this is a different county. Workman's comp not having workman's comp exemption or a workman's comp was a felony. I have a felony for land tile.
Now I will never be your hater, I'm your biggest fan. I hope it falls into place just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. You saw the video. You got a felony for working. The only reason I'm actually doing this video because he put up paperwork with it, right? So, you know, that's why I'm like, because I know for some people it's like it's an outlandish thing that doesn't happen to people, but it's a thing that can happen for black men. You get what I'm saying? So, and people don't ask the question of, you know, they say black men are in trades more than anybody else, and we get the bad reputation of being bad at our jobs. You know, I don't do trades, but in general, the job of the trades. But other people suck too, but they don't get that stigma. But the reason I'm actually doing this video isn't necessarily that. It's when people talk about, you know, black men aren't working and don't want to work and are not doing certain jobs, they never factor stuff like that in because it doesn't make sense. And for me, it makes sense as a black man. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I got a job and I have a uniform job, let's just say that. And I almost got arrested for doing my job, you know. And I remember one of my coworkers, she retired, and her husband, and she was with her husband, and her husband's I think he's a white guy, he is Hispanic, it's one or the other. But it was like during the Obama administration, Obama or Trump, one of those, and it was the "What About Chicago" era. And he didn't know anything about Chicago, but I grew up on the West Side, so I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just watching the news. But I wound up talking. I was like, dude, the cops will pull you over for doing that, even doing this job in uniform. No, that would have never happened. And then one of our coworkers came to the retirement, older black man, and we were just talking about funny stories or whatever. This is after me and the conversation with this guy died down, and he was talking about how he got pulled over for working, and her husband's face was like, wait a minute, I don't know. And it wasn't that I brought it up, but it just came out because he knew, all the black people that knew, you know, all the coworkers who weren't black who worked the job knew, but this guy who was one of our coworkers' husband, he's just, it's America, 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 America. I'm like, whatever. So people don't take into consideration that there are people who are police officers who are really just trying to bust you for working. You get what I'm saying? Trying to arrest you for working. Like, just like the video of the young brother who was doing HVAC, and the Asian lady went full Karen and called the police on him. You know, I've done jobs where people come to the door with guns and machetes and, what are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? What do you think? Like, what kind of retarded stuff are you on right now? And it's like, oh, I just saw I saw you were black, and could you do, man, shut up. You're like, could you please do your job for me now? It's like, man, if you don't get on my face. But using this as a reference, this is the interesting part of the story is the county lines, because he was like, he's in one county, and one county has rules, and then the other county asks him to do some work, and then as soon as he gets there to do the work, they bust him for an obstacle. Well, you need to have this and that when you're in this county. And it's like, hey, man, you really gave this man a felony for working? And you called him. So this is a setup. This is a sting. So, like, people talk often about how people have gotten arrested because they got drugs planted on them. You know, you've seen that play out, you know, in social media using cops body cam footage, right? Where you've seen them plant dope. But people don't think about this type of stuff, like getting people fired. You know, arresting people on a job to make sure they don't have a job, and setting people up to get fired. You know, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just, and sometimes, some of y'all don't know, like, sometimes it's just a racial setup. Sometimes the setup is actually a past customer who got mad about something or accused somebody of stealing something. So I'm going to call my friend and such and such and such, and we're going to set this person up, and you're going to get him. And then all of this stuff happens. Like, there have been numerous occasions when I've been at work and people have accused me of stealing. And I'm like, and they're like, I know you did it, I know you do this and you do that. And I'm glad that they have the, like, I'm glad people have cameras, you know, on the doorbells and around their homes now, because it's beautiful, right? And there have been numerous times people have called in, such and such stole, and they stole, and he stole, and he stole. And they're like, yo, did you look at that, you know, in that particular spot right there? Because what you're talking about was right there. And it's like, no, it's not. And they go out, it was right there. Oh, bye. You know, it's just like, and it's not a one-time thing. But people have this thing where they don't take stuff like this into consideration when it comes to black men. They don't take, man, people are making our jobs harder. People are making sure guys don't make a living. This is one of the tactics people use to make it. You know, if you're doing a job, somebody might pull, if you're actually doing a job with your coworkers and your coworkers want you out, they'll pull the, I don't feel safe card. I'm threatened. I don't know what to do. It's an unsafe environment. And then people will come together. Oh my God, he's black and you're not. And I'm sure in our fantasies he's gonna kill you. You gotta go. If you can't fire you, you gotta transfer. You gotta do something. You know, it's that. You know, if it's a woman, it's that in the sexual thing. Oh, he looked at me. He thought he was gonna take me. He was gonna just take all my clothes off on the workroom floor and just go at it in front of the whole place. That's what I felt. It's like, she's uncomfortable, man. She thinks you're just gonna whip it out and do her like a porno in front of everybody, and we're just gonna watch and cheer you guys on and watch her fight for her life. Like, it's weird, right? But, you know, the third one is this type of stuff. You know, and the cops involved, they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna get a slap on the wrist. Oh, he was in the wrong county. Who called him to come here? He wouldn't have came in this county if y'all wouldn't have called him. It's like, wait, what? Yeah. You called. He was in that county. You called him to this county, knowing the rules of this county. So you did this on purpose. But, you know, judge, you got to go to court and fight with judges. But they're gonna, well, that's the law in this county, buddy. You know, ignorance of the law is not like, oh, okay, this is a setup. This is entrapment. He knew the word entrapment. Magical words are not gonna save you now, nigga. It's like, we don't take stuff like this into consideration, but it happens. It happens. And on the flip side, not even the flip side, on the opposite side, they don't have a problem with somebody's an illegal, quote unquote, immigrant doing all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? He's saying, I didn't like the job he did. He's not even a citizen, Jim. The next time he comes, we're going to send him from that county to that county. We're going to arrest him for being illegal. Stop it. You know, this is the hypocrisy of America, man. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
You ever been to the top of the universe? I'm gonna take you there.